Welcome to Greater Life, Greater Impact, you guys. It's nice to see your shining faces on here. We have new people. If you are new, I highly encourage you to go over to my YouTube channel, Greater Life, Greater Impact, and catch the replays of some of the previous discussions that we've been having on spiritual sovereignty and autonomy, and some of the different ways that you can navigate your way through spiritual awakening, standing on your own 2 feet, navigating through what's going on in the world right now and in religions right now and in families right now. There's a lot of chaos and fear in the world. And so I really want to create a space, these live Zoom classes each week that we do, where we can come together as ascended, awakened beings. And doesn't matter where you're at in your process, on your path. We're all brothers and sisters, and we can all support each other in great ways by having these open conversations and dialogue. A couple of things to just note before we get into the topic today. Feel free to grab a pencil and a paper so you can take notes. I don't know if there's going to be a handout with this class specifically. Sometimes I do provide a handout for you guys, and I will let you know ahead of time if I do that. I just don't know if there's going to be one for this class. So take notes if you want to, and feel free to chime in. Feel free to ask questions. I see that Juliet already has a question. Go ahead.
Yes, I wonder, usually you record the sessions, but I don't have a notification telling me that it's being recorded. So have you started the recording already?
Yeah, the recording has been started. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, just so you know. Yeah, actually, when you guys jump on, it should say, hey, this session is being recorded, and then you have to accept that. Okay, all right. We've got people joining us from all over the place. Thank you for being here. Today, our topic is on divine identity. Hold on, let me do a little bit of, there we go. Topic today is on divine identity. And I want you to consider, first and foremost, I want you to consider this question, because I think it's a really important question we all ask ourselves. But do you know who you really are? Do you? If I were to ask you guys, hey, who are you? Who are you? Many of you would say, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a housekeeper, I'm a teacher, I'm a friend, I'm a this, I'm a that. And while those are aspects of you, those are parts and pieces of you, but that does not really, it doesn't really well define your true identity, right? Those are things that you do. But so I want to get into a deeper discussion on what is identity. So when we talk about identity and quantum healing, some of the ways that we can define identity is how you see yourself in the world and how you think other people see you.
Can I
Sherry,
interject?
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to tell everybody about an experience that I'm having as I have untethered from everything on the earth and on my knees asked what the truth is. And he's showing me who I am. And it's really amazing when you can step away from the world and the loudness of it. You really do have to consciously do it, because it's almost impossible as mortals to stand in it and hear unless we have our fine tune. And so I've spent the last 3 weeks in fasting and prayer, mostly fasting. I've lost about 20 pounds. I feel like I'm being changed before my own eyes. And it's so beautiful because I'm letting go of all the stuff. And it's the atonement at work in my life, because I've allowed myself to see my own, take accountability for it. And I've been forgiven. And it's such a peaceful feeling. The truth is coming to the earth. And if our eyes are open, we will see it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as accepting it. This work we're doing is so important because it requires it for our mortal body.
Yeah.
But once our crown chakra is opened, it can't really be closed again, because it's our faith that leads us from there.
Yeah.
And our bodies are healed in the process. It's a promise.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it requires our faith entirely in a way you've never done before.
Yeah. So as you guys ponder on this question, do you know who you really are? And who are you? And if so, who are you? I love that you said that, Sherry, that it's the more that we tap in to the divine identification of our true souls, then the body has no choice but to have to level up. And yet it's kind of a hard process to go through as we go through spiritual awakenings and as we go through these up levelings that we're being invited, all of us are being invited onto this path. It can be very difficult because we find that we really do have to let go of all the things that we once were clinging to. So with that, I want to do a share screen because I want to walk you guys through something that maybe some of us have not considered before on the level of identity, how you see yourself and how you think other people see you. So let me share my screen. I'm going to draw this on the whiteboard. So, all right. First of all, identity. On the surface level, let me see if I can type this in. I don't know if I can do that and hold my papers at the same time. Here we go. Identity. Identity in the world. So identity in the world encompasses things like your ID, your driver's license. That's how, whoops, license. I can't talk and type at the same time. Your driver's license, your bank account. You know, we talk about people getting in situations where their identities are stolen.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
One thing I've experienced in my mind today is before this class, when we leave this earth and we become in his presence again, we will be naked from everything we've got except what we've developed within ourselves. The process we're in is developing our own foundation, which is very individual, and it's why we're here. We're here to develop ourselves. And if we are willing to be his disciples, we can look at our lives and see that our experiences have given us who we are. The adversary has convinced so many people that there's something else. He's raging here. But the truth is about to come out, and if people are ready, they'll accept it, and it will be a really quick change. But the evil prevails here, and we're going to see a lot of destruction before.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And it's why so many of us are going through such difficult, challenging tests and trials and struggles in our lives, is because we're being asked to shed the outer layers of identity and go deeper. So this is level 1. How do I draw this? Let me just see if I can draw this here. This is level 1. Okay. Now let's come down here to the next level of identity, which is your persona. Whoops. So the persona encompasses things like your personality, your, oh, let me type it into here, actually. See if we can. All right. This is personality. It's if you do things like aura readings, personality, what do they call it? You know, when you take a personality test and you find out what's my number, what's my sign, and astrology is another way to identify your persona. These are different quirks.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I have stripped all of the garbage that the world has taught me. And, you know, they talk about tarot cards being of the devil, and there's so many things that we've defined in certain minds. And I've dived into it, you know, risking bringing evil on to myself. But what it's done is teach me my own intuition, and I can see the good and the bad, and I know what's for me and what's not. Those are gifts we're given if we're allowed to let them reign in our lives. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. True. And we do have to let a lot of this go. In fact, most of this we're going to be asked to let go, just like you said. Whoops. Put that there. Okay. So this is level 2 then of identity. And let me see if I can draw that right there. Okay. So we've got our persona, we've got our personality, astrology, quirks, tendencies, beliefs. This is your footprint in the world. This is how you show up in the world. It's all of the different idiosyncrasies of you. Oh, there's something else that I wrote in my notes, but I can't understand what I wrote. All right. But this is basically your costume. This is what you wear. This is how you present yourself to the world. But there's so much more to our identity than just the identification or the evidence that our physical bodies were here. There's so much more to us than the persona or the way that we wear our costumes on this planet. Like Sherry said, at some point, as we up level and we come into full on, I guess, self-realization or self-actualization, we do have to let go to a large degree of all of these kinds or these things that we cling to that have to do with our personality.
So this is one thing I forgot to say. Tarot has been one of my greatest guides. It has been the closest to my path and literally has helped me make decisions. So don't discredit any of the modalities. Tap in and see if it's, answering your prayers, because that's our faith in action.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do a lot of listening to some of those as well. There's a few tarot readers that I follow online, and what I've noticed for me is that often, like, I don't live my life based on that stuff, but it often shows up as a second witness for where I'm already headed, and I'm like, oh yeah, that just witnessed to me that I'm right where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if we stay sitting in it, that's our choice.
Yeah.
We don't ever lose our agency, and we do have the power to win this fight we're in.
Yeah.
We just have to realize it, because it's coming.
Yeah. Okay, so these are the two breakdowns of different ways that we have identity in the world. So now I'm going to clear the board and we're going to talk about your divine identity, because this is the next level. So let's put in here divine identity. This is the part of you that has no filters, no labels, no categories, no boxes, no, I guess there, to some degree, there is persona, but I'm going to put persona because technically the persona that you carry around in this 3D world is really just a costume. It's what you put on when you come to this earth, but in many ways, it's a false identity. It's not a true identity of who you really are. So what is the true identity then? It's what I like to refer to as the I am. And when Christ was asked, who are you? That was his response, was I am. And even God has used the term I am, that I am. And I think it's the same for us. The divine identity of who we really are is the I am. It's your beingness. It's the eternal imprint or evidence that you're a divine presence everywhere. So let's just write that on here too. Evidence that you not only were here on earth, but that you are. In fact, evidence that you are everywhere and everything, because you're one with it. All right, so now we're going to end the share screen. Come back over here. We've got lots going on in the chat box. People talking about angel numbers. Okay, good. Awesome. Tarot readings, angel numbers. There's a lot of different ways that we can get affirmation, I guess, as to where we're at in our lives. And that all comes through vibrational frequency. So people are talking about angel numbers and the tarot readings and the synchronicities and the ways that things show up in such I'm having a lack of words today. I don't know why. In such synchronistic ways in your life. And
The
if
thing
you'll
that's so
follow,
cool,
go
we
ahead.
have access to the internet. If you have a number come to you, you can put it in and it tells you what it means.
Yeah.
We have access to that education, and it's so amazing to look into it because then you can see another sign in your life. It's really cool.
Yeah. One of my favorite websites that I use is Sacred Scribes Angel Numbers, and you can Google that. Somebody's putting other resources for angel numbers into the chat. Andrea says, I am an eternal guide. I walk the path of love and light that leads the way back home. Awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So now what I want you guys to experience now is let's get into our bodies a little bit. Let's just drop down into our own beingness and let's experience our I am. Let's experience our divine identity on a higher level than just through clothing, hair, persona, makeup, identification, possessions, all of that stuff. Let's go a little bit deeper.
Janet,
Yes, go ahead.
will you please type that reference into the chat that you gave, that you use for angel something?
Yeah, Mike just put it in. It's
Thanks, Mike.
sacredscribesangelnumbers.blogspot.com. And if you go there, they have an index. You click on the index, you can look up any number all the way into the thousands, like 3,000 or 4,000. So I love
One
paying
thing
attention.
Sorry, Janet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes when I'm reading one, another number comes to me, kind of like the next step, and I'll look at it, and it's really kind of, if you tap into that, just kind of another divine connection, I feel like
Yeah.
it can be.
Yeah. Yeah. Great resources. All of these are great resources. So I'm going to pose a question and I want you guys to either drop it into the chat, open your mics. Thanks for the participation today, by the way. This is awesome. It's nice to have you guys back and forth a little bit. But here's my question in regards to identity. And you think about the 3 different tiers or levels of identity that we've talked about today. What is the purpose of this earth life? Now, there's a lot of you on here that I've talked to in past discussions that believe that we've been here many times, that we've been in an earth probation,
Can I
multiple
interject?
different levels many times. So the question is, what is the purpose of life? Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
I feel like what we're developing here is our intellect. And that is what we take with us. And what we learn here becomes our testimony. And
Yeah.
that's what we speak. I mean, it compels us to speak it because it is what we believe.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's more than intellect. I think it's divine intelligence.
Intelligence, yes, for sure.
So, and I
They're
think
divine intelligence.
I think there is a difference between the intellect, which is your mind or your brain's way of processing things in this mortal dimensional space. There's a difference between the intellect and divine intelligence. And so when we have a balance between the two of those things, then what that produces is wisdom when they're balanced. But if we're up in our heads all the time and trying to navigate life and reality and eternity through just the intellect, I think we get ourselves in trouble because there is an imbalance. So when you balance the intellect and the divine intelligence, which is what we're going to tap into right now as I take you into the body, what happens to us as we start to develop that is that wisdom helps to tap us more into the divine I am. We operate from that place of wisdom, divine wisdom and divine guidance. And so when you're operating from that higher place of divine wisdom and divine guidance, it can look like you're crazy. Lots of people will look at you and go, you're breaking all the rules. That's not how we do it. That's not normal. That's not society, what society says you should be doing. And so we do get labeled as crazy and out there when we start to follow the wisdom of our own inner divine compass. Did somebody else, Lisa, did you have something?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know I'm a loudmouth today. I feel like the divine intellect is him, and it is pure love. And it's him teaching us, because we don't know everything or we wouldn't be here. So we just have to strip ourselves of the world and all the fine lines that have been dividing us. There's two sins. That's it. Judging each other and ingratitude. And if we can live in a state of gratitude, it's as close to God's love as we can get. Everything else, there's so much loudness. We have to get away from that while we learn.
Yeah. 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 Thank you for sharing that. So one of the things that prompted the discussion for today's class was I've been studying the divine identity of Christ, of Jesus Christ. And I've been thinking a lot about why was it so important that he talked about his divine identity. He discussed his divine identity and taught it to the people and referred to himself as the Son of Man. In fact, that's how he referred to himself. Lots of people gave him other labels, like the Son of God and all of these other labels, the Messiah and the Christ. And those were labels that were given to him by people. But the one term that he used for himself 90% of the time, in fact, there are over 75 different references to Christ in Holy Writ, in the way that he said it was Son of Man. And Son of Man means a God incarnate in a body. I am a God here on this earth in a physical, fleshy tabernacle. And because he said that he was that, people really struggled with it. It's why they retaliated against him so much, because it was such blasphemy at the time to say, I am a God in flesh. But the truth is, for every single one of us, that is a truth for each and every one of us, is that God dwells within each and every one of us and shines.
We have divine DNA.
Yeah, we do.
And if we realize that, look, we've put ourselves in such a small box. If you ask him to see yourself, he will show you, but you have to go in humility.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to go into an exercise right now. I want everybody to just kind of, oh, Lisa, did you have something?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to clarify. So would the word God particle, the God particle that's in us, be synonymous with that, or Christ consciousness? I'm just trying to get vocabulary. I know like who we are. We're in reality from divine, which makes us gods incarnate ourselves. So because of the God particle in us,
Yes.
because of Christ consciousness in us, is that synonymous? Am I talking about the same thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that you are. And there's oneness that plays into that too. So we're going to get into that a little bit deeper as we go into this exercise. So everybody just go ahead and just take a big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I want you to drop down into your body, deeply into the body. Let's connect at the base of the spine. And as you connect at the base of the spine, all you have to do is just put your awareness and your consciousness inside of your body, dropping down deep into the body. Put your awareness in there, hanging out in the hips at the base of the spine. And as you breathe in, I want you to think that you're breathing in, just pretend that you're breathing in liquid light. You're breathing in your higher self. And so as you breathe in and just say the words, I am. On the exhale is about letting go and expanding out. The inhale is about taking it all in and connecting. So inhale, breathing in your I am, calling it into your beingness, into your body, into your fleshy tabernacle. So could you for a moment just breathe that light of your I am and the presence and essence and energy and intelligence of God. Could you breathe all that in? Breathe it into your bones in the form of light. So just sit comfortably. See if you can relax your body a little bit deeper. On the exhale, drop your shoulders a little bit down, going into your body. When Christ talked about his divine identity, he said, I am Son of Man, meaning I am a God in a fleshy body, a tabernacle of man. So I want you to breathe in God or light or energy or essence or truth, whatever it looks like for you. Breathe that light in just like it's liquid light. Breathing in your higher self, calling it into your bones and your cells and your organs. Breathe down deep into your bones. On the exhale, drop your shoulders and just relax into that. I want you to really surrender into your body. So you can tell if you are connected to your higher self because you're going to feel relaxed, totally and completely relaxed. So look for the little pockets of tension where there's resistance or tightness. Drop your shoulders a little bit. Can you go into your eyeballs and see if there's any tightness behind there? Can you go into your throat, into your mouth, into your tongue, and see if there's any tightness behind there? And relax it and soften it and just let it go. On the exhale, drop your shoulders down, go down deep into your body, go into your bones, go down into the base of the spine and anchor in. Now, this time on the exhale, as you soften your body and let go of tension, I'm going to invite you to push your aura out. Boom. So on the exhale, breathe out and expand out. Breathe out and expand out. Breathe in, the I am, breathe out. And I want you to just, as you breathe out, use some sound if you need to just push that aura out a bit farther and farther. Let your energy explode out from your center, anchored in at the base of the spine, and explode out from center. Just like you stepped into the center of the sun and the sun stepped into the center of you. Breathe in, breathe out. And let that light shine. Let that light touch the floor and the ceiling and the walls and the corners and go out even beyond the space that you're in this moment. Going out into the cosmos, shining. So you, as a being inside of your body, are anchored in at the base of the spine or in your center, somewhere on the midline right there. Anchored in and expanding out. And as you expand out, you notice that your energy interconnects or integrates with God's light, the entire universe, to the point that your essence, your energy, your presence, your light, whatever you want to call it, that now becomes the container of the universe. And since now you're one with God's light, you become the container of the universe, but you also become a unique, divine expression of the light. So as you drop down into your body and relax your body, putting your awareness in your hips at the base of the spine, expanding out, who are you? Who are you? Have you ever stopped to be in the stillness for long enough to just sit in your presence. Just sit in your own beingness. Sit in the stillness of it. And breathe. On the exhale, that light goes out and it shines through your bones and through your cells to the degree that every cell in your body right now is animated with your divine intelligence, the godly aspect of you. And let every single cell, every single atom and molecule become the sun, lit up like the sun, shine. Just allow every particle of material that you animate, let it shine with truth, with light, with God, with the presence and the essence of God. Now, as you drop down into your center and you're anchored into your body, you realize that you, as a being of the light, are animating this body. The body isn't necessarily you, but you, as a beingness, are animating the body. Can you sit in the stillness of yourself for just a minute? Who is looking through the eye holes of your body? Who is walking this body around on planet Earth? Who is observing the world around you? Who? Who are you? And as you tap into that a little bit more and go a little bit deeper into the stillness, just feel. Letting go of tension, letting go of fear, letting go of anxiety. Just let go. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Letting go of the persona, letting go of bodies and bank accounts and labels, pieces of paper that say who you are. That's not who you are. Who you are is this energy that's coming to you now in the stillness. Drop down to the base of the spine. As you breathe out, expand out, and just be. And as you expand out, notice that you integrate with all that is. You literally do become every blade of grass, every grain of sand, every mountaintop, every ocean floor, every star in the sky is you. You are experiencing all of those things, the beingness of everything in the universe through your own I am, your own divine presence, your own divine essence. That's the energy. This is true spirituality, you guys. This is true spirituality. I want to take this a step further. I never can tell whether it's further or farther. Someone will correct me. I want to take this a little bit deeper. So as you're sitting in your body now, just feeling your presence, take a little bit more to relax and surrender and soften and allow your body to surrender to your presence. You got to drop down out of your head to do it. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to invite you, this is called hovering your senses, but I'm going to invite you to take and put all of your 5 physical senses, taste, touch, smell, seeing, hearing, all of the physical senses that allow you to interface with this earth in your body. Just take those out of your body, pretend, and hover them above you in a little box just out here. So that now all that's left is your big empty vessel of material, matter. Just empty body. And now I want you to take your brain, take that out, hover that over here in this little box. Take your brain out. Drop down out of your brain, go down deep into your body, deep into your heart. Go into your heart. You could put your hand over your heart if you want to. And now with this empty shell or this empty crust that is your body, in your intuition and your imagination, that's intuition. In intuition now, could you invite the divine? That could be Father God or Mother God or Jesus Christ or whatever the divine is for you. I'm going to use my terminology because that's what I associate with. If that doesn't align with you, plug in your own terminology. Don't be offended by me, but plug in what works for you, what is divine, and bring them into your body with you. Let them come in through the crown. Let them come all the way in, as if your body is this big, giant room. So let's go into your heart for a minute. Open the door. Let's pretend there's a door on the outside of your heart, and I want you to open the door, step inside. And as you step into the other side of the door, into your heart space, you notice that it's just expansive, golden, beautiful, luminous white light. There is no floor or walls or ceiling. It's just expanded, infinite self. It's a room full of light. And as you stand in that room, bring in whoever or whatever you want to bring in that represents God to you. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Father, Mother, Christ, Mary, and any others that represent a God presence for me. And now they're inside of you. Let's do one at a time. So for me, I'm going to allow Christ to look through my eyes, to listen with my ears, to animate my physical body, to speak through my mouth, to write with my pen. And you do the same. What does it feel like to have God as a literal presence within you? Watching, witnessing, speaking, listening, animating with you. You are the steward. They definitely are there with you inside of the essence of your soul, inside that chamber of your heart. And when you're ready, I want you to write down what comes to you. Yeah, there's a chat going on. I'm missing it, but someone just said, this work builds our armor. Yeah. Helping humanity evolve. Jenny says, several years ago, I was meditating on a beach in Oregon. I was laying down, looking up at the heavens, and I asked God, Father, who am I? His answer was, you are of the ancient days. He said, my heavenly name. Your lips have spoken truth since the beginning of time. You are a mighty warrior and a fierce defender of the light. Your sword is made of the most powerful force in the universe. Your sword is made of love, and that is who you are. I am love. We
Can I interject?
are, hold on, let me finish. We are love. He didn't mention anything about my many roles in this life because that is not, oh, I just lost it. Sorry. He didn't mention anything about my many roles in this life because that is not who I am. I am his. I am love. We are his. We are love. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
I lost my thought. Give me just a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, Anne says, I am the presence of God, walking, talking, being. Just be. Just be. Okay, so the next question that I'm going to lead you guys into is this. As you are in your center, accessing the presence of God in there with you and your highest self, and you know that that part of you is unchangeable. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever, just like Jenny just said. You're the same yesterday, today, and forever. You are the presence and the essence of God within.
Can you interject?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me just finish by asking this question to everybody in the class. I want you to ask yourselves, write this on your piece of paper. What threatens you? What threatens you? If you are eternal, you are infinite, you're the same yesterday, today, and forever. You cannot die. You can't lose anything. You can't have anything taken from you. What do you have to worry about? Nothing. Nothing can threaten divine identity, the divine aspects of you. And that's more than just your persona. It's the presence of God within you. And you are the steward of that. You dwell there with them, deep within you. So at some point, you're going to stop thinking what your brain or anybody else's brain is thinking about you, because it doesn't have anything to do with you. This is about beingness. Okay, go ahead, Sherry.
You read that response that I had responded to somebody's statement. You missed part of that. I think it's important as the stewards of our children that we teach them these things so that they have this armor, because we can't be with them all the time, but we can teach them how to discern. And
Yeah.
that is one of our greatest responsibilities.
Yeah. As parents, we are not the guides to our children. We're not there to fix their lives. We're there to love them, and that's it. And to guide them back home to themselves.
Agency is something we fought for. That's why we feel the need to do so again.
Yeah.
We don't want to be told what to do because our spirits are telling us otherwise.
Yeah.
It's projecting us to open our mouths because that's what he's asking us to do. And this discipleship is what we're being shown. And everybody here has been living it. And we're just finally seeing our part and giving ourselves some credit. You know, for some reason, we feel like we have to reach this expectation. And really, if we just follow the spirit, we know we're doing what we're supposed to. There's a lot of comfort in that.
Yes, there is a lot of comfort in that. Thank you for sharing. Jason says, I was told God loves you. I was also told that God chastens those whom he loves, which is giving me context for things that I'm going through that have been very trying. We're going to talk about that in just a minute, Jason. So hold that thought. Jenny says, Janet, I needed this so much today. Yes, I think we all did. I think so many people are feeling these
We feel like our mouths
feelings.
are shut.
Yeah.
Our mouths are shut, and we are being forced to use our bravery and speak because the media is shutting us down. I've been in Facebook jail more than I haven't in the last 5 years because I'm trying to wake people up. And all I'm doing is trying to expose what's in the vaccine. They don't want you to know because they're killing us.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, so let's come back to divine intelligence versus, well, not divine intelligence, but intellect versus knowing. Let's come back to that for just a moment. So I want you guys to stay present in your bodies. Keep your awareness inside. Stay in that room full of light where God exists and dwells with you and are experiencing the world through your body with you, one with you, connected to you. Oftentimes when we get tapped into our higher selves, and we receive witnesses of what we're supposed to do or say, or how we're supposed to operate in the world and what's on our path, it's impossible to receive knowings or downloads, as some people call them, from heaven. It's impossible to receive that stuff and then explain it or defend it or tell it or teach it. That's why the mysteries of God are mysteries. It's because it comes through this place of knowing it. When you receive, what's the word I'm looking for? Revelation. When God reveals higher knowing to you about who you are and about what's going on in the world and about what you're supposed to do and say, when you receive those revelations of higher knowing as it comes to you, downloads to you from the divine, those are the mysteries. Those are the commandments. When you act in alignment with what you're given, that is keeping the commandments, not making a list of what all the to-dos and the to-don'ts. That's not keeping the commandments. That's just keeping somebody's rules.
Can I
Keeping the
say something?
commandments means that you tap into your higher self and you act in alignment with what you're given. And that stuff is so mysterious because only God can teach the mysteries to you as they come to you. And then to me as they come to me. You can't defend it. You can't teach it. You can't talk about it. You can't explain it. It's not our prerogative to explain the mysteries because they can only be taught by God. That's why it's so important for us as beings, to parents even, to teach our children to come home to themselves and operate in that. Okay, so we have two comments, one from Jenny, and then Casey, you're next. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know why I'm feeling moved to share this. It kind of all evolves. There's a big lesson behind this, but I'm also taking the Jack Rabbit Factor class, the Genius Bootcamp class. Mike's actually taking it with me. And Thursday's class, we talked a lot about the I am. And I wrote down this, and this is what I'm feeling super moved to share. We don't need to stress about or worry about the thoughts of what's happening in our lives right now. For example, if we're talking to God, we don't need to tell him what's happening in our lives because he already knows. He wants us to ask ourselves and talk about what the problem looks like solved, or what our question is with an answer. So that has kind of followed me around for the last 4 or 5 days. And this is like resonating. I'm going back and looking at my notes off of that class, and it's all kind of blending. So after I get off here, I'm going to journal about it. But I wanted to share that specifically. I was feeling super moved to share that part. So
Yeah,
what the
Casey,
problem looks like solved is
Yeah.
what we're supposed to be.
thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that because it matters where you put your attention, because that's where you're going. So if we're focused on fear, all the fear that's being projected onto us in the world, if we're focused on that, then that's where we'll go and that's what we'll create more of. But if we're focused on, like what you said, the outcome resolved or resolution or restitution of truth, right? The restoration of truth, then that's where we'll be going. So it really matters where we put our attention and our focus. And you're right, God does know what's going on in your life. God is trying to guide you to the focus of how this can materialize through him, through them. Go ahead, Jenny.
So my friend taught me something really beautiful and I wanted to share real quick is when we were talking about the armor of God and she's talking about the breastplate of righteousness. And then her question to God was, what is righteousness? Because that can get so long of a list if you let it, right?
Yeah.
And so she decided to just ask him, like, what is righteousness? And he showed her that righteousness is all righteousness is contained within the first two commandments of God, which is to love God and to love ourselves and others. And that if whatever we're doing falls into those first two great commandments, then that is righteousness.
Yeah.
And I loved that. So she said, if we're aligned to the heavens vertically in love, and then she puts our arms out to the side, both arms, if we're aligned to ourselves and others in love, then that makes a cross. Like the vertical alignment and the horizontal alignment makes a cross. So all righteousness lies within loving God and loving and forgiving ourselves and others.
Yeah, I love that. That's interesting that you said that because a few weeks ago I was in meditation and prayer and asking the Lord, what is righteousness? I had that same question. And the answer that came was love. It's love. That love is all encompassing of what righteousness truly looks
It's
like.
the solution to everything.
Yeah.
It's that simple. We have to get past our egos. I was raised in a really strict religion by a very strict and firm father. He went all the way to temple president. And I have had to walk away from all of this restriction in order to see the truth. And he's been giving me blessings lately, which has given him confirmation on my path, which is blowing his mind. I've watched him stand there and weep, but he needs to hear it. And my dad has been one of the most people who've offended me in my life, and this has healed us.
Yeah.
Because we both step in and ask. He anointed me, and I'm healing. I've been forgiven.
It's beautiful. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more hands. Kareen, you're next. Go ahead. You're muted.
There we go. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay. My question was just, oftentimes when I get in this space where you've brought us and really centered, I'm just this peaceful, I am, right? So I struggle with asking questions. So just kind of, what would be your advice on for some of us who are like this? Like, what's a good starting point for some questions to help guide?
Yeah, that's a great question. So how it happened for me personally when I first started on this path was I would go into meditation and prayer. I would meet them within, and that's really what I felt like Christ was teaching me was go inside because I'll meet you there and I'm in there. And so as I did that, I would say, oh, Lord, what are you here to teach me? What do I need to know? And he would say, what do you want to know? What is it that you want? Like, I'm not here. I didn't come with a clipboard and an agenda and a bunch of boxes to check off of what you need to know. I'm just here for you. So what is it that you want to know? And in previous sessions, meditative sessions and prayerful sessions, I would meet with him and he would say, what inspired questions do you have for me today? I'll teach you anything you want to know. But what questions do you have for me today? And so the onus is on each and every one of us. If we want that divine learning, we have to come up with the questions. What is it that you really want to know about? And then start from there. And in the beginning process of that, just what do you want to know? That should be a good springboard for you having to go inside and introspecting and reflecting and going, what do I want to know? I don't know.
Can I say something?
Yes.
One thing I've had to do is try and expand what I can believe possible, because it's really hard for us to see the divinity because it's really big. And we're pretty limited here mortally. And so we kind of have to leave that mortal by while we do this, because the information we're receiving isn't worthy of this earth. I feel like as we go, our mouths will be open and we will speak his words if we're ready. And they're not for us. We're just the vessel. And what we've done is learned how to be disciples. And it's through our own sacrifices of different kinds. And it's our own cross we've borne, but this has all been sacrificed for, and we're forgiven. And we are going to be blessed in ways we've never seen, because the fullness will be restored, and those who are ready will listen.
Yeah. Those who are
I'm never going to
ready.
speak this from a different platform. I'm not going to speak this from a different platform because I have to be protected. But I need you guys to hear me.
Is that it? I think you're done.
Yeah.
Okay. Len, you were next, and then I think Casey still has a question or a comment. So we'll do Len first, then Casey. Go ahead.
Well, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for what you're doing today. I have, within the last week or two, two amazing pictures of what I've been trying to do in my own life, but in more conventional ways, because I'm kind of a political person, and partly in religion. But this really adds a whole other dimension, because I can feel myself in a different way. And it adds to the other things I'm doing. I'm in some very difficult situations, and feeling my own presence and connection to God and the universe is really important. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we've got some comments here, and then I'm going to go to the next step. As we're continuing to talk, I would love for you guys to stay in that centered place. Stay in your center, drop down either into your heart or to the base of the spine. Continue to expand out and breathe into the surrender of that experience, because as you allow that stillness to come into you and meet you there, that's you. That's you. And you can bring God into that space with you. So we've got a couple of comments here. One by Mike. Practice, schedule out 5 minutes a day and start there. Sit in silence and see what comes to your mind. Yes, I think that was in response to how do we come up with questions to Corrine. Casey says,
I want
yes,
to interject one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go before you're done, but one thing I'm learning is that the only ordinance that's important is baptism. All this other stuff really is another lines being drawn in the sand. We never lose our agency. Don't lose.
Yeah. You there?
You have to turn around again. If that's what you're told, you do it and you don't ask.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. All right, we've got a comment from Casey. It says, yes, I'm noticing through this journey that sometimes I simply need to work on the things that are at the forefront of my mind. Well, why is the thought at the forefront of my mind? Why is this thought at the forefront of my mind? There's the first question, then it usually goes like a domino effect and the questions just come. Okay, that's good. Good. David's iPhone says the further study is what does love look like and sound like. Many people believe that they are speaking and acting out of love, even though their words and tone and actions are not loving. Anne says, the universal God already knows what we want, but our 3D experience needs the words. Everything is within. That is beautiful wisdom. Everything is within. Andrea says, I've also had where I ask God, what questions should I ask or pray for? Yes, I've had that as well. Asking what questions to ask. And sometimes even asking, is this the right question to be asking? And am I ready to ask this question? Am I ready to receive the answers to this question? Shauna says, Janet, you said something earlier about our imagination being the place where we perceive spirituality. Is that right? Can you explain more? I believe this is true. I just want to hear a little bit more discussion on it. Yeah, what I said was your imagination is where intuition lives. It's on that platform, and anything can come in and influence your imagination. But that's where discernment also has to come in. So the stage for intuition, one of the stages for intuition is your imagination. Another stage is just divine knowing, having that feeling or the energy. Sometimes you'll have downloads of energy or feeling that there are no words that could describe what you know to be true. And you can't tell it, you can't teach it, you can't talk about it. It's just a divine knowing. So that's another platform for our intuition. So one of the many ways intuition can play out is in the mental eye or the mind's eye or the third eye. That's your imagination. Casey says, do your shadow work. That's a really good response, I believe, to the question on how do we come up with good questions. I'm in a constant state of prayer now. My crown is open. Okay, good comments. I want to end. We're at the top of the hour. We've kind of reached the pinnacle of discussing divine identity versus your persona and your imprint in the world. The evidence that you were here in a physical body is not necessarily the sum total of your identity. It's a part of you and it's a part of your experience, but it is not your identity. When you look in the mirror at your physical body, you're not really witnessing true divine identity. You're looking at a physical mortal construct. That's the costume that your true identity happens to be wearing at this point in your progression. And you've likely worn many robes, many costumes that lend to your experience. So with that, I'm going to end on this. This is interesting because as I went into prayer and meditation this morning for what are we going to talk about and how is this going to look and how's it going to come out and what questions should I ask? I went into meditation this morning, and as I came out of that meditation, I opened up my phone and it was already on Facebook. And it was on this post. And so I'm going to read to you this post that was posted by the Sisterhood of She. It's a group that I'm in, or page that I follow. Okay, here we go. I should copy this and give you guys I'll have to see if I can put it in a handout, but here we go. I'm slowly learning that I don't have to react to everything that bothers me. I'm slowly learning that the energy it takes to react to every bad thing that happens to you drains you and stops you from seeing the other good things in life. I'm slowly learning that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and I won't be able to get everyone to treat me that way. I want to be treated the way that I want to be treated, and that's okay. I'm slowly learning that trying so hard to win everyone is just a waste of time and energy, and it fills you with nothing but emptiness. I'm slowly learning that not reacting doesn't mean I'm okay with things. It just means I'm choosing to rise above it. I'm choosing to take the lesson that it has served and learn from it. I'm choosing to be the bigger person. I'm choosing my peace of mind because that's what I truly need. I don't need more drama. I don't need people making me feel like I'm not good enough. I don't need fights and arguments. and fake connections. I'm slowly learning that sometimes not saying anything at all says everything. I'm slowly learning that reacting to things that upsets you gives someone else power over your emotions. You can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond, how you handle it, how you perceive it, and how much of it you want to take personally.
Can I say one more thing?
Hold on, let me just finish reading through. I'm slowly learning that most of the time these situations say nothing about you and a lot about the other person. I'm slowly learning that maybe all of these disappointments are just there to teach us how to love ourselves, because that will be the armor and the shield that we need against the people who try to bring us down. They will save us when people try to shake our confidence or when they try to make us feel like we're worthless. I'm slowly learning that even if I react, it won't change anything. It won't make people suddenly love and respect me. It won't magically change their minds. Sometimes it's better to just let things be. Let people go. Don't fight for closure. Don't ask for explanations, and don't chase answers, and don't expect people to understand where you're coming from. I'm slowly learning that life is better lived when you don't center on it, on what's happening around you, and center on what's happening inside of you. Work on yourself and on your inner peace, and you'll come to realize that not reacting to every little thing that bothers you is the first ingredient to living a happy and a healthy life. By Stevie Flood, the author of Sacred Dreams. Perfect. That's perfect. And you know what happens to us when we finally learn to tap into our higher self is that we'll come from the wisdom of that place, slowly learning all these things, that the most important thing is not how you react, but necessarily just being. The most important thing is you tapping into your beingness and letting that part of you do. All right, so we've got a comment by Jenny, and then I think it might have been Sherry that said something. I didn't see who it was, but Jenny, go ahead, and then Sherry after that.
I love what you just shared. Thank you for sharing that. And the only part I can't see. Show me. Yay, 11:11. I love that. Thank you so much. How sweet. Thank you. I felt just to add, like, and you did cover it, but just reiterate, is that it's so important while we're learning to do this. While we're learning to do this is to be a loving awareness of ourselves during this time. So just to remember, we're not our thoughts, we're not our emotions, we're not our memories, we're not our five senses, we're none of those things. Our thoughts come and go and we still remain. Our emotions come and go and we still remain. And it's just so important that we remember to be a loving awareness of ourselves during that time. Just be aware of the thought or the emotion with love. Don't judge yourself for having the thought or the emotion, and just watch it come and go and notice that we still remain. Our souls still remain. So just show yourself a lot of love and compassion, and also just be a loving awareness and witness of other people's journeys as well. Just let their journeys unfold how they do, and just hold them in a place of love. But most importantly, hold yourself in a place of love while we're learning to do this. So, and I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing everything you did today.
I love you too. Thank you for sharing that. And I wholeheartedly agree that self-love is where it begins. Because to the degree that you can hold space, a space of love for yourself as a being, not as a doing or not as a falling short, but to the degree that you can hold that space of love for yourself as a being is to the same degree that you're going to be able to feel God's love and then love God. That's the first great commandment, is to love God. You can only love God to the degree that you love yourself. The second great commandment is to love your neighbor, love other people. But what we forget is that what comes before that is self-love. To the degree that you love and respect and honor yourself as a being of the divine is to the degree that that love from God and through you will be able to spill out into the universe and into the world around you. So it has to begin with self-love. And that's your beingness. That's you connecting to your divine I am and coming home to that and recognizing that there is no threat to you. Nothing can threaten the infinite, the divine infinite identity of who you really are. And that has nothing to do with bank accounts and ownership and personas and clothing and personalities and types, ways to type people and put them into categories like, oh, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Leo, I'm a Libra. That's how I identify in the world. That's fine that we have personality, persona, that we have incarnated on a very specific wavelength in this dimension. And that's how we operate in this dimension. But we are so much bigger than that. And if you can learn how to come from that place and come and build an identity based on that instead of a false identity based on filters and labels and boxes, man, how powerful will you be? And I do believe that it is about the whole purpose of life. I asked you guys at the beginning, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of being here? And so for me, I would sum it up as learning to overcome fear, because fear is the obstacle, and learning, regardless of the fear, to step into love, because that is who you are. And that's all I have to say on that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Sherry, are you still here? Did you have anything? I think you had something else that you wanted to comment on, but I don't know if you have left the chat or not, or the group. I think she might have left. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate and love you all so much. Thank you for being on this journey. If you feel like this class or this session would help a loved one, could you please share it around on the internet and get the word out that this is a safe place for us to process? Go ahead, Mike. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I just want to sincerely tell you how much I love you and how grateful I am for today. And everybody that shared, like, seriously, like, today was, you didn't tell me to bring a box of tissues to class today, but I needed it because, like, I've been teary the whole stinking time. So thank you for the spirit that was in this group today. Like,
Wow.
kudos to everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks to everybody who shared. It was all perfectly designed. You deserve to know how awesome you are. You deserve to know your divine identity. And the world deserves to know you from that divine identity place. So go be. Go and be. Stop worrying about the doing. Just go be. Have a blessed rest of your day, everybody. Thank you for all of your comments and your remarks and your love and your connection. And please share this around if you think other people could benefit from this discussion. All right. Take care, everybody. Mwah.